Today I am going to present my research proposal. So this one is the title for that: Association of Cardiorespiratory Endurance with Autonomic Functions in Athletes and Sedentary Young Adults. This is the agenda, in which these are the points which we are going to discuss. The first one is the introduction, lacuna in literature, a need for study, aim and objectives, materials and methods, study tools, recording protocols, consent forms. So basically, first we should know about the what is physical fitness. Physical fitness, it is a person's ability to work effectively, enjoy leisure time, be healthy, resist hypokinetic disease or condition, and meet emergency situations. It is a multi-dimensional state of being that usually refers to two aims. The first one is the performance and second one is the health. In case of performance, it consists six skill related fitness components. On the other hand, in case of health, it includes five health related fitness components. Now, the physical fitness components. So these are the skill related fitness components and the health related for fitness components. In case of skill related fitness components, we have agility, balance, coordination, and next are the power, reaction time, and speed. In case of health related fitness components, there is cardiorespiratory endurance and muscular endurance, and the muscle strength, body composition, and the flexibility. So these are the physical fitness components, which is mainly categorized into two groups. The first one is the skill related fitness components, the second one is the health related fitness components. Now, what is speed? Speed is the maximum rate at which a person can move or cover a distance in a certain amount of time. Speed requires good strength and power, but body weight and air resistance can affect a person's speed. The next one is the agility. Agility is the capacity to shift or change the orientation of the body rapidly from one point to another. A person who competes in track and field exhibits a high level of agility. In case of balance, balance is the ability to keep a body in place whether standing or moving. People who do gymnastics, yoga, and skiing as sports exhibit greater balance. In case of coordination, coordination is the ability to move in a way that is smooth, accurate, and under control. Coordination is a difficult skill that also requires good balance, strength, and agility. In case of power, power is the ability to perform one maximum effort in the shortest possible time. In other words, it is the ability of muscles to use as much as force possible in a little time as possible, like when we run or swim. This component of skill related fitness component has to do with the cardio respiratory endurance. Strength and speed are the two components that combine to create power. In case of reaction time, the term reaction time refers to the rate at which an athlete reacts to an external stimuli. Athletes can be exposed to different stimuli when they play sports, so reaction time is very crucial for any athlete, and it all depends on how fast the player can react. So, among all of the components of physical fitness, cardiorespiratory endurance has given the most importance. In this sense, among physical fitness components, great emphasis has been given to cardiorespiratory endurance, which is also known as aerobic fitness, maximal aerobic power, or capacity. Cardiorespiratory endurance is the overall capacity of the cardiovascular and respiratory systems to carry out prolonged strenuous exercise. Cardiorespiratory endurance is typically reported as VO2 max, the maximal oxygen uptake that can be achieved during maximal intensity exercise. So now, what is the maximum oxygen consumption? Maximum oxygen uptake is defined as the highest rate at which oxygen can be taken up and utilized by the body during exercise. It is a main variable in the field of exercise physiology and is frequently used to indicate the cardiorespiratory endurance of an individual. Estimation of maximum oxygen consumption, that is also called VO2 max. A person's maximum aerobic power or capacity, that is VO2 max, can be estimated using maximal or submaximal exercise stress test by direct or indirect methods. So there are basically two categories of exercise stress test. The first one is the maximal and the second one is the sub-maximal. Maximal exercise basically are done till exhaustion. In case of sub-maximal exercise, which can be stopped uh, before coming the highest heart rate or the exhaustive stage. And there are two methods. The first one is a direct method and the second one is the indirect method. Direct method, which is also called as laboratory method. In this method, VO2 max can be measured objectively and reliably in the laboratory through direct analysis of the gases involved in pulmonary ventilation while performing exercise stress tests on steps, treadmills, or cycle ergometer using various protocols. So there are specific protocols which are for treadmills, there are step test and also specific protocols for bicycle ergometer. Direct measurement of VO2 max is highly valid and reliable because in this uh, the gases which are involved in pulmonary ventilation are directly measured. Now, the autonomic functions. Autonomic functional status. The autonomic nervous system regulates such important functions as blood pressure, heart rate, thermoregulation, respiration, gastrointestinal, bladder, and sexual functions. Autonomic dysfunction can occur as a result of many diseases that affect autonomic pathways. Autonomic function test can non-invasively evaluate the severity and distribution of autonomic failures. Standard laboratory testing evaluates cardiovagal, pseudomotor, and adrenergic autonomic functions, which consist both sympathetic and parasympathetic. The first one is the cardiovagal function. It evaluates by the testing heart rate response to deep breathing at a defined rate and to the Valsalva maneuver. In case of pseudomotor function, these functions can be evaluated with the sympathetic skin response, that is called SSR, and the thermoregulatory sweat test. The third one is the adrenergic functions, which can be evaluated by the blood pressure and heart rate responses uh, to head up tilt test and sustained hand grip test, which are useful in defining the signs of autonomic failures. Lacuna in literature and need for the study. Few studies have been done in India using direct method for estimating cardiorespiratory endurance. Hence, this study is designed to estimate a VO2 max by direct method and compare the results of exercise tests with autonomic functions. So basically, most of the studies during uh, uh, review of literature, uh, in most of the studies, the method which were used for VO2 max estimation were the indirect methods. Like these were calculated by the different formulas. But here we are using direct method because here we are using a gas analyzer which directly measures the gas during ventilation of the exercise stress test while performing exercise stress test. This study shall also provide normative data of maximal aerobic capacity in Indian population. Most of the previous studies had focused on submaximal exercise stress test than maximal stress test. Here we are using maximal stress test. Aim and objectives. Aim to study association of cardiorespiratory endurance as maximal aerobic capacity, that is VO2 max, with autonomic functions in athletes and sedentary young adults. Aims and objectives. Aim to study association of cardiorespiratory endurance as maximal aerobic capacity, that is VO2 max, with autonomic functions in athletes and sedentary young adults. Primary objectives are to compare cardiorespiratory endurance among athletes and sedentary groups in terms of maximal aerobic capacity to assess correlation of autonomic functions with VO2 max. The secondary objectives are to correlate VO2 max with physical activity level using global physical activity questionnaire, to correlate autonomic functional status with VO2 max with oxygen saturation. Material and methods. Study area. The study will be conducted in the upgraded Department of Physiology, SMS Medical College. Materials and methods. Study area. The study will be conducted in the upgraded Department of Physiology, SMS Medical College. Study design. The proposed study will be a cross-sectional comparative study Study type. The proposed study is an observational analytical type of study. Study period. Data collection will be started after approval from Institutional Research Review Board and Ethical Committee till the desired sample size is achieved or till whichever is earlier. Study universe. SMS Stadium Jaipur and Rajasthan University Jaipur and SMS Medical College. Study population. Uh, Male athletes from various sports practicing respective sports regimes in SMS Stadium Jaipur and Rajasthan University Jaipur fulfilling inclusion and exclusion criteria will be recorded as part of the study. Inclusion criteria for athletes: individuals doing moderate intensity aerobic physical activity to more than 300 minutes or more than 150 minutes of vigorous intensity aerobic physical activity or an equivalent combination of moderate and vigorous intensity activity throughout the week. Individuals fulfilling minimum criteria for athletes as for sedentary individuals with no previous participation in intensive training, that is less than 3 hours of exercise per week. These are the exclusion criteria. Subject with any cardiorespiratory disease, subject who are on treatment with any drugs that may alter the respiratory and cardiovascular functions, alcoholics and smokers, any known psychological or psychiatric illness, subjects with musculoskeletal disorders, hypertension, diabetes mellitus, and had a history of hospitalization of last 3 months. Data collection and instruments use. Data collection could be divided into three categories. The first one is the recording of anthropometric parameters, second is the recording of baseline physiological parameters, and the last one is the methods of measurement of outcome of interest. These are the study tools: Canvin analysis for autonomic functions, Schiller's cardiopulmonary exercise test, machine with bicycle ergometer for direct gas analyzer for measurement of VO2 max, digital BP instrument, digital weighing machine, wall mount stadiometer, pulse oximeter. These are the various anthropometric parameters. The first one is the age calculated from the date and year of birth given by participants. Weight. The subjects will be weighed on a standard size machine with minimum of their clothing. The weighing scale is calibrated once in a week using standard weights. BMI. The body mass index is a formula used to assess nutritional status and total body fat. It is calculated by dividing the subject's weight by square of his or height. That is the formula for body mass index, that is the weight divided by height. The height of the subject will be measured without footwear to nearest 0.1 centimeter using a standard stadiometer. Care shall be taken to ensure that heel, the interscapular area and the occipital area are in contact with the stadiometer board during the three measurements. These are the recording protocols. The first one is the RAM protocol for estimation of VO2 max and the various autonomic function tests, which includes sympathetic and parasympathetic tests. In case of RAM protocol, it assesses the cardiorespiratory endurance through direct analysis of the gases involved in pulmonary ventilation while performing on a bicycle ergometer exercise test according to RAM protocol. In this protocol, first we we have a starting load of 20 watts on bicycle, which includes 3 minutes warm up. The next one is the proceeding with increasing load of 10 watt per minute until exhaustion. 5 minutes active recovery period. Options will be there for emergency stop in case there are any abnormal ECG changes, any symptoms like chest pain, dyspnea, and breathlessness, or any undue fatigue. The autonomic function test. To assess the autonomic functional status, various parasympathetic and sympathetic tests will be done. These are the deep breathing test, supine to standing test, and Valsalva maneuver are the parasympathetic test. In case of sympathetic, we have sustained hand grip test, that is BP response to sustained hand grip, and the second one is the postural hypotension BP response to standing. Parasympathetic function test. The first one is the Valsalva ratio. In this test, subject would be asked to blow in a rubber tube of a mercury manometer and maintains the pressure of 40 mmHg for 15 seconds. Continuous ECG would be recorded for 1 minute before the strain, during strain, and 45 seconds after the strain. The ratio is taken as maximum RR interval after maneuver to the shortest RR interval during the strain. The normal range for the Valsalva ratio should be more than 1.21. This one is a formula for Valsalva ratio, that is the longest RR interval after the strain divided by the shortest RR interval during the strain. The next one is the deep breathing test or expiration by inspiration ratio. The participant would be asked to lie in a supine position and relax for 15 minutes. Continuous ECG would be recorded during this period. Then the subject would be asked to breathe deeply at the rate of 6 breaths per minute, which allows 5 seconds for each inspiration and expiration. Continuous ECG would be recorded during this period, and the ratio would be calculated as the longest RR interval during expiration and the shortest RR interval during inspiration. The normal range are the more than 1.21. The third one is the supine to standing test, that is the 30/15 ratio. The participant would be asked to lie in supine position and relax for 15 minutes. Continuous ECG would be recorded for 1 minute. Then the subject would be asked to stand without support and remain motionless for 1 minute, and the 13-15 ratio would be calculated. Longest RR interval at the 30th beat divided by the shortest RR interval at the 50th beat. Now the simplicity test, which includes the first one, is the postural hypertension, that is BP response to standing. The participant would be asked to lie in supine position and relax, apply BP cuff or the wrist monitor. Then the subject would be asked to stand without any support and remain motionless for 5 minutes. Then BP would be recorded at the end of 1 minute, 3 minutes and 5 minutes. Normal range of the fall in systolic PP should be less than 10 mm of Hg. There is a hand grip test. The participants would be asked to hold the hand grip dynamometer in the dominant hand and press it with maximum effort. The tension developed will be measured, which will be the maximum isometric tension. Then the subject was asked to maintain 30% of that Tmax for 3 to 5 minutes. BP would be recorded from the non-exercising arm. The difference between the diastolic pressure just before the release of hand grip and before starting is taken as a measure of response. This rise in diastolic blood pressure should be more than 16 mm of Hg. Now the GPEC questionnaire, that is a Global Physical Activity Questionnaire. It collects information on physical activity participation in 3 settings or domains, as well as sedentary behavior, which comprise 16 questions. The domains are the activity at work, travel to and from places. The third category is the recreational activities. In case of work, for moderate values we assign 4 MET. For vigorous activities we assign 8 MET. In case of transport there is only a one category, that is the moderate, and we assign 4 MET for this activity. In case of recreation we divide give for moderate activities 4 MET and vigorous activities 8 MET. This one is the equation for calculation. Total physical activity MET per minute per week. The sum of the total MET minutes of activity computed for each domain. The equation is the total physical activity MET minute per week. All the questions would be multiplied by the respective METs, and the total MET per minute per week would be calculated. And if these values are more than 600 MET minute per week, this is the physical activity cutoff value, means the subject is physically active. Thank you.